It was that quick. This Monday I released a video talking about the old plans for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland Paris and explored some possible replacements. Of course, neither of the possibilities would be the right one. Well, what I'm trying to say is that yesterday the biggest Disneyland Paris source for upcoming projects and plans dropped some huge new rumors. These range from the Third Land, new attractions, Star Wars, studios, Disneyland Park and so much more. So make sure to stay until the end of the video to learn all about the latest in Disneyland Paris rumors.
Oh boy!
Hey everyone and welcome to the Main Street News. If you're new, make sure to subscribe, and if you're interested, join our Discord with Disney fans just like you. We also have a Patreon if you want to support the channel even more. Links are in the description. Before diving into all the juicy rumors, I do need to warn you. All the contents in this video are rumors and have not been confirmed by Disney in any way, shape or form. I advise you to take these with a grain of salt and wait for confirmation by Disney. Please don't make any decisions based on these. First of all, who is the person behind these? Ali has been providing information for a long time. He's behind the famous website Outside Ears, which is known for its great reputation in articles. He has proven himself as a reliable source for a while. One of the more recent times being in January, when he gave the exact dates for the return of Disney Dreams, the new Marvel show, and Small World reopening, before anyone knew about Dreams and the Marvel show. Now that you know this, let's explore everything shared by him. Starting with the third Walt Disney Studios land. It looks like last summer's rumors were correct, as the park will be home to the world's first Lion King themed land. That's right, on the left side of the lake and just besides Frozen, guests will be able to enter a Lion King land filled with stuff from the movies. This land would also feature a water ride, filling in a much needed space since neither of the parks have a ride for the very hot days. We still don't know what type of water ride it will be, but let's look at the options. Disney has three types of water rides. You have a boat ride that some people don't really consider to be a water ride. These would be the Pirates of the Caribbean, It's a Small World, and the soon-to-be-built Frozen Ever After. Then you have a log flume. These are very common in European theme parks, but Disney would do it with a twist, as they join it with a dark ride, just like they did with Splash Mountain. And at last, we have a Rapids ride. Disney has built several of these around the world, with Animal Kingdom's Cali River Rapids, Shanghai's Roaring Rapids, and let's not forget California Adventure's Grizzly River Run. So, which one would it be? That's a good question. In my opinion, option 1, the boat ride, is off the table, as Disney is building one in Frozen and wouldn't make much sense to have two very similar rides by each other. Between the other two, I think a log flume would make more sense, and there's some reasons for that. Most importantly, since it's easier to control the water splashes. Splash Mountain has existed in Tokyo for a long time, and they have a really similar weather to that of Paris. Over there, the water levels were reduced, so you don't get as splashed as in the other parks. During the summer, they turn on what's basically a water hose that gets everyone wet. This could be very similar to what happens in this attraction. Splash Mountain is also very well known for its dark ride parts, and this would be amazing with a Lion King theme and its musical numbers. We don't really know a lot more regarding the details of the land, but I would assume it would also include a restaurant of sorts and a couple of shops, and who knows, maybe even another smaller ride. Talking about flat rides, another thing that was revealed by Ali was a new ride at the back of the building we talked about a couple of videos back. The location will be around here, possibly between that building and the English Garden. This makes me believe that it could be themed around an English-based IP, something like Peter Pan, Mary Poppins, or Alice in Wonderland. This will make the promenade feel a little more complete, as you now have several gardens, entrances, and small attractions. This project and The Lion King were the ones that have been signed, meaning that, according to Ali, are the most likely to happen. Now we move into uncharted territory and into some projects that are still in the more early stages of development, but have a good chance of happening. Starting with one I am personally very emotionally invested in, and that is Space Mountain. Yeah, you heard that right. Space Mountain, the attraction that saved Euro Disney, is looking like receiving a big change. According to Ali, the ride should return to its original theme and something else in either 2024 or 25. Jules Verne's novel From the Earth to the Moon inspired the attraction, and guests would board a vehicle about to shoot from the huge Columbiad cannon all the way to the moon. It has a great history, so make sure to check my video on it. SCA, the secret society of the Disney parks, would also be present in the new version of the ride, which makes it even more likely that the same will happen with the Nautilus when it reopens. Ali revealed that this change is in good tracks, which is very nice to hear. With Space Mountain returning to the original theme, I also expect a big refurbishment of the ride to happen, which would take some time. Make sure to stay until the end of the video, as I'll give my thoughts on possible announcement dates. As we dive deeper into the rumors, we reach a new Walt Disney Studios land. We've been discussing about the third one for so long that we completely forgot about the possibility of a fourth one. As I said during the last video, Avatar has a lot of fans in Europe, especially in France, as it was the third biggest market in the world for the new Avatar: The Way of Water. So, an Avatar land makes total sense, and this is exactly what he says. The flying mountains of Pandora should appear in the new land, between Frozen and Cars Road Trip. The original Disney World layout of the land fits incredibly well in that spot, which makes me believe that it was the plan all along. With this new land, we could see either the two attractions being cloned or just the big e-ticket flight of passage, which is such an incredible ride. You can expect other offerings being built, such as restaurants and shops, as well as the incredible theming that land has to offer. Before continuing, let's just step back and breathe in, breathe out, and look at what studios might look like in some years if all these plans end up happening. With the promenade, its 2 rides and gardens, the lake restaurants, Lion King on the left, Frozen on the middle, and Avatar on the right. Such an incredible sight to see. Let's move on now. With Star Wars being cancelled, there's still a need to use this very famous IP in the parks. So where does Star Wars already have a presence? In Discoveryland, there's Star Tours, Starport, and the shop. We now know that space will get rid of that overlay, so where can Disney expand to? At the back of Discoveryland, there is a big expansion slot with even more space on the back, so this is the perfect place to build the new Star Wars attraction. This will make it so that the land is divided into 2. In one side, you have the steampunk future imagined by great visionaries of the past, and in the other, you have what would become a mini Star Wars land. In terms of attraction, which kind would it be? Glad you asked. There have been rumors for a while saying that Disney placed an order of 3 identical coasters to the manufacturer Vekoma. These tracks being the Tron Light Cycle Run coaster. So it could be that Disney Imagineering is working on a new attraction with the Star Wars theme around the Tron coaster. I would say that a speeder themed coaster would be very fun, where you board a speeder and not a light cycle, something like these ones used throughout the franchise. I'm not sure how Disney would design the new facade and, well, everything else, so we'll just have to wait and see. Those are the new rumors we got. Let's now try to figure out a possible timeline for these announcements. As I said earlier, we have 2 types of rumors here. The ones that have been signed and are more likely to happen, and the ones that are in a more early stage of development. Therefore, the signed ones should be announced earlier. So, starting with a new Promenade Flat Ride. I think this will be the first one to be announced and could happen this April 12th, as Disney will be giving an update on current projects during the first D23 event in Europe. this will definitely be a date to remember. Then we have Lion King, which could also be announced in April, but something tells me that it won't, and could be saved for later this year in Destination D23 or even next year in the bigger D23 Expo. I leave it for later this year, but it's likely that it won't happen until next one. Space Mountain, with the dates given by Ali of 2024 or 25, I would say could be announced at the Destination D23, as that refurbishment would take a while. Then Avatar I don't think will be very soon, would leave it for around 2025 or even later in 2026. The Star Wars Tron Hybrid would be eyeing a similar announcement period as Avatar, so around 2025. This would make a possible opening date of 2028 if they don't take as long to build it as they did in Orlando. That's it for possible announcement dates. We are looking well into the future, so plans could very well change, and we might come to explore them in a Disneyland Paris Cancel Attractions video. But now, I ask you, which one of these projects are you most looking forward to learn more about? Make sure to follow us on Twitter, as I'll explore everything revealed over there. Huge thanks to Ali for sharing this information with us all. You can find the link for his Twitter down below as well. And now, thank you to our patrons and to you for watching. And as always, that's a wrap.